Baruch Hashem, so it's a busy Tekufa, Chassidus Hashem, in a good way, a lot of richness in the Yud Tet Kislev energy. And as Y.Y. Jacobson said last night, and hopefully we'll discuss a bit more today, it's a Yom Aruch, it's like a long day, a long Yud Tet Kislev, and it falls out Erev Shabbos, because it goes from Thursday night, Leil Shishi, all the way through Erev Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, and then Motzi Shabbos, and now we're getting a Shir Sunday today.
It doesn't really
as well as last year.
You're just saying like it keeps happening.
No, that's how the Chassidim would talk about it, like in the Panemius, Ruchnius way. Like
even though today is yesterday, obviously was not Yud Tet.
Yeah, it was. Today's Chaf Aleph Kislev.
But you're saying it just stopped.
Yeah, the oil keeps going, and Rav Shlomo even made a joke and said it goes even into Hanukkah. Yeah, it's like so you can keep going even from Hanukkah. But the truth is, the Or of Chassidus and the Or of Mashiach of Hanukkah, the Oregoners is very connected. And Rav Weinberger and Rav Y.Y. Jacobson last night, and Judah as well, Judah Michelle, they gave a lot of chizuk on the importance of connecting to the Or of the day, Shtatef and Simchosi, to partner in my simcha. That was a lashon Rav Weinberger used, and Rav Jacobson will hear a bit more today at Shir David, but the concept of having dveikus to the teachings of Chassidus, and giving us the ability to connect into Einon Mavado and to the Or of Chassidus, and it was beautiful. I'm not going to misquote them, but like you can go hear it now online. There's already posts of the live sessions that he did last night, and also there'll probably be today as well. I might even try video some of it myself if they don't mind. Just so I have a copy and I can put it on my platforms. Whoever wants to see it there. But the main nakuda is that with the sharing of this light is the key to bring Mashiach. That's what the Baal Shem Tov was Makabel for Mashiach Tzidkeinu. And when in the way Rav Weinberger spoke last night, that he said whenever you learn a teaching from a tzaddik who has the Or of Mashiach Tzidkeinu, has the ponim, the eyes of Mashiach Tzidkeinu. There's a kind of lashon he used last night. It's very intense, because it's making it very real. Like what we're learning here in Tanya, and we try to learn every week, it's the way Rav Weinberger and Rav Y.Y. Jacobson would bring it down. It's very intense, like very real. That was the whole difference. Like you can hear the concepts, and I can repeat them. But the way they said it was you felt it, and you could feel how fundamental it is to the chiyas, the life force in the room and the people, and that was what was very, very special last night, and we shouldn't take it for granted. So we're using David Rich's sefer, and he's already back at the beginning of Chitas. So it's funny, we're still like in chapter 28, and they're already back around the beginning of the cycle again. But I personally do the Chitas anyway myself. Like I try to learn every day from Chabad.org. They send out an email. I've been doing it for ever since I got the email. They used to have these svarim that I used to use for the chitas, and I lost one, I found one. I was walking around Yerushalayim with them. They're a bit beaten up. So when I move house, I'm gonna try to find my whole set, and so I can start using it again. In the meanwhile, I'm using David Rich's, and we're holding in Perek chapter 28, and we've been learning an important concept we mentioned last time about the derech and achamim l'cheina avachim yachad. This concept of Parshas Vayishlach, when Yaakov was fighting the Sar Shal Esav, this is in a certain way a good understanding of how we are fighting till the end of days, the Yetzer Hara within the Nefesh Bahamis, is the way the Baal Tanya talks about it, in a certain level. Specifically Nefesh Bahamis, you actually have to makar of it, but obviously the Nefesh Elokis and the sad of Tov of the Nefesh Bahamis, we've been learning about it, the good part of ourselves, the identity we have towards Kedusha, that is in a wrestling match, as if we can explain it, with the other side. And the point is, the only way we're going to be Mizgaber and to overcome it is he says, L'chein nefesh alekis mitzamsis mizgavis levispalo. He said, for in the baptism of the divine soul and animal soul, when the divine soul exerts itself and musters all its strength in prayer, thereby to weaken or vanquish the animal soul, as I gam a klipa is gabris connector. The klipa of the animal soul to gather strength to counter it. To confuse the top of the divine soul means of a foreign thought of its own. So we see that in real time every day. Like we're going through this. This is not just theoretical. This is not just a wrestling match that you tune in once in a while. Like you go see like a famous fighter fight another famous fighter, or whatever your thing is in sports and stuff. Seeing competition. This is something within us. It's funny because us at Lava we're going to watch this giant, huge. We can't even explain what exactly is the Leviathan fight this behemoth, this big behemoth, gas or whatever it is, some sort of force, and they're going to fight each other. And the Siddiqim are going to sit, hopefully be amongst them, and they're going to watch this colossal fight. So ultimately, this concept of a wrestling match is something very real. It's going to be part of Last Lava. When Mashiach comes, we're going to rejoice, and we're going to end up. When the giant Leviathan gets shechted, we're going to eat from it. We're going to have wine from Shiva Maisa, from the 7 days of creation. We're going to have. That's how old the wine's going to be. Imagine how good it is. Wine that's that old, all the way from the beginning of creation. What it means is it has all the sodas and the panemias. The Niknas Yain, Yosef Sod. We're going to have all this wine and intoxication of panemias, of Orish Mashiach, the light of Mashiach. The Chassidus is going to be Mizgala. But what it really is fully is going to be Mizgala on the Lasalova. But part of the celebration is watching the success of our battle that we had within and without with this other side, this other force. And that's going to be part of the Simcha Lasalova. That's why what Rav Weinberg was saying last night, you have to mishtatef in my simchosi, but that also means in the meanwhile while we're still in Golos, you have to also partner in the pain. You're partnering in the joy and partnering in the pain that we're not fully legal this joy. Like you said, the hostages, the soldiers, we have to internalize it. Just having my son home again and the mental trauma that they've gone through, like the experiences they've had, is still affecting him till now. Like it's not like it went away just because he's not in Gaza now. He's in Lebanon. He's in Syria right now, and it's a slightly different war. People are like, yeah, but he's not fighting over there. Yeah, I'm like, what? He has to be shooting his gun for it to be traumatic. He's standing there with sheiks and Arab guards with Shabak and experiencing very high level tension. If they any minute they could start shooting each other, that is traumatic. Sitting in a room with these people who potentially could murder you.
Right. And also
to say because they didn't kill each other that day.
And the trauma from Gaza.
Yeah,
that it's like could come any second. Like once you're in the
it's a mindset, it's an experience, and Lebanon as well. And so we were talking to Jerry last night just on Chesed how much we need to step up on the chesed and the mental well-being of the soldiers, and we're going to have facilities and all kinds of different avoda, and we tried to organize them again another therapy session. There's Yossi was in the car as well. But the idea that this is the inner battle that they're going to go through is going to be so intense with this other side, these other forces. And he goes on to say that Balatanya, Lo ketayis ha'olam shetoyim la'chiach nefilas machshava zah machal she'ein tefilosam klum. This refutes a common error. What happens? People think because I'm having these nisyonos of thoughts, so then my tefillah and my vote is nothing. Because I'm just constantly having this battle. When a 4 and 4 occurs to some people during prayer, they mistakenly conclude that their prayer is worthless. What happens? They conclude if I'm having these thoughts, it means klum. That's one of the 8 Zaharas. Since I'm having these mental health issues, the mental trauma, and I'm going through kinds of inner stories, so I want daven. What was one of the simchas I had this Shabbos? My son and one of his friends from his unit came to daven. I don't know if you saw the both of them. They came in and daven because that is a tremendous hatzlacha. They're after everything they're going through and all the feelings they're having, and probably the lack of focus.
Who suggested to your son's friend to go say hi to Rav Shlomo?
His name's Daniel Wiesel. You know Wiesel, Danny?
Well, that's who suggested it.
Yeah, he was very strong, and he took them to a mikveh of Shabbos. My other son as well, and he was very strong in getting them. It's all about them opening up. They were opening up with Itamar in the office there. There was a lot of pre-game before Shabbos where they were connecting, and that enabled them to be more open to come to daven and connect to Rav Shlomo and connect to the whole thing. And it was very powerful. That one boy, he hasn't been to shul for years. And he was wearing tzitzis. He had a moment, And this is the idea that we've got to get rid of the 8 Zaharas thought, this error that people make, then once I'm already consumed with this battle, so then the Hashem doesn't want to hear me. He doesn't want to see me. I'm coming into shul with all these machshavas zoros, with all these other thoughts. So why bother coming b'chlal? Hashem's not interested in my dirty thoughts and my dirty mind, and I'm probably pulling down the whole energy of the place because of my negativity that I'm bringing with me. No, schlep the eight sorrows to the base medrash, and if you have a good community like this, they'll lift you up. They'll dance with you. They'll give you a word of encouragement. They'll give you some hugs and love. If one prayed properly and correctly, so they mistakenly believe, no foreign thoughts would arise in their minds. They would be correct if there would be but one soul. See, this is the thing. People think they're just one. This is a mistake people make. They think that there's one entity. What's the truth, according to the Tanya? That we have a nefesh elokus and a nefesh bahamis. We have to accept. We have this animal spirit. We have to be real with this animal spirit. This is something of why Jacobson is going to be very strong with us, I think. I don't know for sure what he's going to talk about, but this is one of the nekudas he definitely always does talk about it. That we have to accept. That we have a nefesh bahamis. We're not perfect, and if we live in this dimyonis that we there's a lot of people around who think I'm just nefesh elokus. I'm just a munah. I'm just, they're denying a whole side of themselves. Yeah? And that's what the Tanya makes us very real. And that's important. It's important to be real with the Nefesh Bahamis. Then you can start, learning strategies how to cope with it, how to channel it, how to elevate it, how to Mesiach das from it, to move your mind from it. You have to be real with it. You have to be real. My wife always tells me, you have to talk out stuff. It's the only way you're going to get. Otherwise, people get sick. A lot of people are ill in the world because they're not talking out their inner issues. And the inner issues, a lot come from Nefesh Bahamis. You have to talk it through. And you have to work it through. You have to face it or learn how to avoid it in a healthy way, like according to the way the Tanya talks about it, like in the Tzaddikim talk about it, and what's healthy according to the latest understandings of psychology and therapy. We have to be real with it. We can't pretend it's not happening. But emes he could devaim him ha'is nefesh. They think I only have one soul. Mispalem he machshavas mahorim machshavas zoros. The same sort of prayer is also the one that thinks and ponders on the thought of thoughts. So then it's saying that the godly soul, that your thinking should be immersed in tefillah. There will be no room for foreign thoughts. We have two souls. And they're waging war against each other in the mind. There are people that, this side here, he's able to have a munish shooter. He's very simple in his understanding of how, it's a very deep understanding, but it's very simple how he lives it. And that's something I saw a lot by Rav Shalom Arush, other Tzaddikim, where they simplify their whole avoda, where they don't need to get so into the nitty gritty of this avoda. But a lot of us are not like that. Yeah? I think I'm not. I have to be real with myself. I'm not like Rav Shalom Arush. So when I take his books, which are beautiful svarim, the Gan of Emunah, and I think, I'm just going to be like him. I'm going to read his books and be matzliach. It's not going to happen because I'm not built with that kind of culture, background, shalom bias, situation. I don't have his reality. I went to Sephardi Moroccan Yid with more Muna Peshuta. I don't have it naturally. It wasn't given over to me by anybody. I didn't have that natural, chain that he has. So I have to be real with my reality. I can learn from him, but I can't only learn from him. I need other eitzes. So that's why I come. Once again, I come back from Breslov, back to Chabad. Because Chabad is mashlim where I feel Breslov doesn't feel me complete my inner avoda. I need to hear from the Balatanya how to be real with this reality that I have two nefoshes. And they're fighting with each other, against the other person in the mind. So we're constantly going, and it's not because we're schizophrenic or something. That's a mistake. People start bringing psychological terminologies. We're not schizophrenic. It seems that way a little bit, but we're not. We're not schizophrenic. It's a bruchnius reality that we have two souls. We have an animal soul and a godly soul. And we have to be real with that. Each of them wishes and desire to rule and pervade the mind exclusively. So the animal soul wants to run the show and just consume yourself with tivers and olam hazeh, with this world and desires. And the spiritual soul wants you to be a godly person, elevated, serving Hashem, thinking about the oneness of Hashem and Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. So when you're thinking about all your bills and this stuff, even though you have to deal with that, but when you're worrying about it, you're overthinking. You're not just dealing with it, you're overthinking. Yeah, when's the money coming? When this? When that? It's taking over. The things of this world take over you. So that's when the nefesh bahamis is taking too much of a control on your mind. And the other way around, when you're overly thinking about Torah Yerushalayim and you're not doing anything about your reality of life, you're not facing your wife, your children, you're just avoiding it all. That's a from Yetzirah in a way, right? Meaning that here he's saying that it's good, the Torah Yerushalayim, obviously, nefesh elikus. But the point is that everything has to be in its time. Except the godly soul is clothed within the animal soul. Therefore, the godly soul cannot ignore the foreign thoughts rising from the animal soul, and thus foreign thoughts disturbs one's devotion in prayer. Now, here we're talking about a specific scenario when you're davening. This whole conversation is about avodas Hashem. So, and not in when you have to take care of your everyday stuff. Now, when you're in avodas Hashem, you're in avodas Hashem, and that's one of the biggest battlegrounds of just being able to keep focused on avodas Hashem. I'm not saying that Panasa can also be avodas Hashem, but there's a distinction being made by the Balatanya that when it comes to davening, prayer, you have to try to create the best setting that you're not thinking about things of this world. And that's Al Pi Halacha. If you look in Halacha and Shulchan Aruch, it talks about this process through the davening. Pesukei Dezim of Kabbanis is one level, Pesukei Dezim is another level. Yes. Because Krishma is another level, and as you're going higher up in the higher parts of davening, you're going through higher parts of worlds, and you're getting less and less connected to the world. To the point when you're in Shemona Esrei, the halacha is you're meant to be mispashet, you're meant to be separated and mavdil from everything else going on. You're just lifnei Hashem. You're in Kodesh Kodoshim. That's the whole hope that you're in Olam Atzilus. You're in the highest place, and you're davening in front of Hashem. There's nothing else going on. Now, do I experience this? Mostly not. That's one of the challenges. Often we're not getting to that level of being in the Holy of Holies in Shemona Esrei. We're not feeling that his pashtus of guf. We're separated from our body. We're just like in this ruchniya state. Most of us aren't achieving that in davening. Okay, so Hashem has Rahman. So we have to know that that's the madrega. But the point he's saying here is that we have to be real that it's going to come these thoughts. And one of the things he already told us is in the Masech Das to ignore them. Here he's saying, "He commercial adam is pala b'kavana omed legdo oro rasha mesiach medaber imo kedelis balbul." So he's going to give you an example of what's going on. You're standing, try to daven with devotion, and what's standing there? A wicked, uncircumcised heathen who chats and speaks to him in order to confuse him. So you've got this real low life coming up to you and talking to you about Narishkai, AI, and I don't know, whatever's the latest Trump news or whatever it is. Yeah. Surely the best advice would be to answer him neither good nor evil. Say, for example, you're davening and your phone suddenly get in one of your most fun groups of Lashon Hara, or I don't know what group. I try to stay out of all those groups. But just say you have a group where at one time I was in some group where they kept sending me all these political updates. Yeah. So I think, what do you call it when you make it? You take it away from your main groups.
Oh,
archived it, and eventually I'm just like delete it. Get me out of here. It's just annoying because I don't want to know the latest things. It's enough what I get stunned from Ben Shapiro when I listen to him, when I choose to engage with that. I don't want to have to in the middle of davening getting WhatsApps about what Trump's up to and stuff. Yeah, I don't need to know, or the other chevra. I don't need to hear from them. Yeah, so the point is that you're not going to get anything by responding to it. You're not going to get anything by looking at it. This is what's happening in Balatanya's time, where he didn't have WhatsApp messages. It's like a low life's talking to you. That's the moshel. Surely the best advice would be not to answer him, neither good nor bad. You have to act as if you're deaf. You're not hearing anything. Yeah, that's how you need to act to it. We're almost finished. To comply with the verse, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you become like him. It's famous Mishnah. Sorry to bring this. I know we're learning Tanya, but Mr. T. Yeah. What are you talking about, fool? Yeah, he always say that, no? Mm-hmm. Some sort of statement like that. Yeah. So if you start engaging too much with Mr. T, I actually, funny enough, I follow him on X, one of my accounts, and he's quite spiritual these days. He's very Yoshkanik, So he quotes a lot of Yoshka, but he's always quoting Psalms.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he, at the end of the day, all these guys, after their whole experience of the celebrity world, Hulk Hogan as well, they all started to become a bit religious because they realized how Havel Volem the success was.
That or kill themselves. I said that or kill themselves.
Yeah. So they turned to Hashem, but in their way. That's where Amisol need to be there at that point and actually give them the truth. Like there's Torah mitzvahs or Shabbat mitzvahs b'nei Noach. We're not always, unfortunately, there when they have those epiphanies.
I'll ask you after.
Yeah.
Remind me about to ask you about Shabbat mitzvah b'nei Noach apps.
Sure. Kach el yashiv be'uma v'shum taina ma'ana neged machshava zara. Just an analogy of a heathen who disturbs one during prayer when four thoughts enter one's mind praying, should answer nothing or nor should he engage in an argument. You see the derech of the Balatanya is to ignore it. Yeah, not ignoring the reality of a nefesh bahamis, but to ignore the distraction it's trying to create to you. You know it's there and it's distracting, so you're aware of that it's going to come. You're real with it, but you don't give it time. So it's not an ignoring of its existence; it's a realness of it. Being real that you have it, that these thoughts are going to come. You're fighting this fight internally almost until Mashiach comes. Or you're able to destroy it like a tzaddik. For he who wrestles with a filled person bound to become sword himself. So what happens if you start fighting those thoughts? I'm going to stop on this point. If you start fighting those thoughts and get too involved with it, you get too busy with Mr. T or whatever, yeah? So then what happens is you start like sounding a little bit like, what are you talking about, fool? Like you start going into that headspace, yeah? And that's not where we don't want to pick up any of that. We want to be like we had last night and hopefully today with Tzaddikim, and we want to get the aura of the Mashiach. We want the aura of Chassidus. We want to be mishtatif in the simchasi of the Baal Shem Tov. That's where we want to be. But in order to do that, we have to protect us, especially at times of avodas Hashem. I'm not saying there's not time for the other stuff here and there, but for entertainment purposes or just to connect with people, and it's a tool to connect to souls who are connected to that stuff in a big way. And you need to know a little bit what's going on so you can elevate them without you falling down. But the point is that when it comes to times of tefillah, just the Balatanya is be real that you have this mechama, but the best eitzah is siach das. Don't get involved in it. Don't get drawn into it. It's not the time now to sort out your bills. It's not the time to sort out, your what would I say? The trauma of life, to work through some of the things. Like one of the things I do at the silent Shemona Esrei, then I daven on these things that have come up in my head, things that are bothering me and concerning me. I pray on them, or in a spodidus even better. Take it to a spodidus in your private tefillahs. That's the best way to do it, because then you can be totally real, and you're not in a situation of halachic Shemona Esrei, which has certain halachas of how you're supposed to connect. That's one of the big things. Resov gave us a way out to get pulled into all these machshavas, is there's a time to deal with them in a way that you will come out clean, because if you do a spodidus properly, you do a cheshbon and nefesh properly, it won't stick to you because you're going to let it all go.
Are you good about doing his spodidus regularly?
Not that good. My wife and I, one of the things we've done is realize that we're always talking to Hashem and we're always trying to connect to Hashem with cleaning the house. Like, there's certain times I sweep every day, I try to talk to Hashem in those moments. And, there's certain times, there's sometimes walking, I get a lot of, because I've still got certain moments. I think you've got to really do it.
You're going to have to, with your new home, you're going to have to now designate
make a space. Time. Yeah, no, I think that's the best way, because I have a beautiful Mepesa. The best way, really, rather than doing it sort of on the go, the best way.
You're saving like
or doing something
20
else.
Minutes,
the real best way is to actually realize this is the most important part of your day, and to actually make it Kodesh. And so one of the good things, every so often a mosquito comes and wakes me up. Yeah, so then I walk around my room trying to kill the mosquitoes. So what I'm doing now, I'm talking to Hashem about everything, because it takes a while, to find them all, and kill them all. You get all these blood marks all over the walls. Hopefully in the new house, won't have that problem as much, because it will be less mosquitoes. With Hashem's help. Okay, we should be blessed with a beautiful week, and we should take all these teachings and the Chassidus, and we should have beautiful Shemona Esreis, clean, pure, connect to Hashem, and be real with our nefesh bahamis, and hopefully elevate it on some level, and be able to separate from these maneuverable thoughts when we need to, and Hashem should help us in our avodas Hashem. Shlemus.